is Viper number 1. And we have a $10 donation. Yes. We have a $10 donation from DJ Aggie, who says $10, who says, gotta feed them all. I couldn't agree more. And without further ado, I'll throw it over back to our runner. Take it away.
No problem. Okay, so right, so first things first, hello again. Welcome to Modellista. This is a PS2 racing game released in 2003, I want to say, 2004, early 2000s, let's put it that way. Yeah, so it came out on the PlayStation 2, released in Europe, Japan, and North America. Although the version we are going to be playing is the original version. There's a reason for that. I'll get into it in a second. But yeah, basically the original version released in Europe and in Japan. And then when it got a remake, so the original version only released on PlayStation 2 in Europe and Japan. The remake, so to speak, or version 1.1, call it whichever you want, or the US tuned version, was released on GameCube, PlayStation 2. I think that was it. I'm not sure if there's any others that it was released on. But yeah, it released in North America, Europe, and Japan. And long story short, the physics were completely different. So the cars were way more grippy in this version. And the run is a lot less because there's a lot less events compared to the US tuned version. But the US tuned version is, even though it's longer, you quickly get used to it. There's a bit more wall riding in them games compared to this. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, we'll get into this run. So I'm ready for the timer. I'll give you guys a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Keep rocking, baby.
Okay, so we have there are 7 levels in. Yeah, there are 7 levels altogether in this game, and to kind of put a long story short, in each level it has a minimum requirement. The minimum requirement is the minimum requirement is they want you to do like a certain amount of races, win a certain amount. So in level 1, you can beat any of the 3 races. We beat the Loop Highway Challenge because we only have to do 1 lap of this circuit, and it's very easy. Level 2, we have a couple of races. We've got level 3, level 4, of course. I'll explain races kind of as we go a little bit. There's not too much to explain with this run other than it is pure racing involved, which is obviously right up my street. We've then got levels 5, 6, and 7. Now, levels 5, 6, and 7 are what are known as the Urban Championship, the Mountain Championship, and the All Japan Championship. That's in the original version of the game. It's worth noting that in the North American release, or the version 1.1 release, as I would probably call it, ideally you want to have you've got the Modellista Championship, which is completely different to what you think it is. Also, that is the first race, all done and dusted. So there we go. Stuff. Yeah, we ideally want to spam through all these as soon as we get in after we've done level 1. So we're going to level 2 straight away, and we've got the Akagi Downhill Challenge Cup. I keep forgetting to change it on my splits, but yeah. Long story short, the Akagi Downhill. So there's Akagi Hill and Uroroko. Now, Uroroko is a lot more of a brutal race, I think. So this race is up 2 minutes long, there or thereabouts. Whereas Uroroko is like 1 minute and 20, something like that. But yeah, long story short with this game, so this, like I said, came out in like 2003, 2004. Was probably jumping on the hype of like Initial D by its style, and that's what I would compare it to. So cell shaded. Also, a lot of these corners are very tight, and it is worth noting as well that the races do get a bit harder. So like while the tripping, the points that people will probably trip up at on this game will be on the think it's level 3 or level 4 because you're doing the first events, like the first 4 levels, with no upgrades. It's worth noting before the run even starts that you can actually choose a load of different parts for your car that'll make it a lot faster. So you can already have like a great start. As you can see, we're completely dominating the AI. But eventually these AI start to catch you up, and yeah, it gets pretty difficult. Also, cool. Can I not go that way? There we go. Good stuff. So it's worth noting as well, so that we have our what do they call them? We do have indicators on the side of the car. We also have like the hazard lights as well, as you can see. You turn the hazard lights on, which is really cool. I think it's quite sure. Oh, that's the gear one. Also hitting the car off the limiter. Let's go. But yeah, basically the car itself is completely different. So yeah, it goes pretty over the top as well. They're doing their thing. There we go. And that's that. We've done that. We go back there and we go straight onto the Rainy Street Challenge Cup. So we're going to make this as easy as possible. Should be nice. But yeah, basically we have a Rainy Street Cup. Now here's the funny thing. So in the Rainy Street Cup, we are using racing slicks here. Now this race, or these races, can actually be very tricky for a first time runner, because you're using tyres that are more suited to dry conditions, not wet conditions, so your car will slide about like crazy. However, like I said, we have an upgraded car, and especially on the straight we can outrun the other cars. Now there is one particular race, or one particular set of races that is difficult, so I'm going to be keeping my eye on them and trying my best not to spin out. Which reminds me, it is quite easy to speak out with the wet race, so just so everyone's aware, this can be quite tricky, like I said, if you're starting running this game altogether. Which reminds me actually, so there's a fun little story with me with starting to run this game. So this game popped up to me because of the fact that I'm part of a community which is had a spotlight on SRC called Blind Runners. Long story short, so Blind Runners are a community Discord of speedrunners new and old, and long story short of how it all works, so people put their suggestions on what games they would like to run in the future, the games that they probably ideally haven't run or they would like to see other people run, and what happens is that will then get picked up. The games that are in the database will get picked at random. 4 of them will get picked per week. They will then, once they have then been picked, it's like, right, okay, they've been picked. What next? Well, we've obviously got a bit more to it than that. But they get picked, and then the community votes on which one it wants. And then once it's voted, it's like, right, okay, it's voted on that one. There we go. Yeah, so once it's done and dusted, it's all sorted out. You have the 4 games that are picked at random. Then the community votes on which one they would like to run, to play themselves. And then once that one wins, it's obviously you can decide whether or not you want to participate in said game. But not only that, like you can choose whether you want to participate in it or not. Once you've participated in it, obviously your time will get done, put on a leaderboard, and then you can submit it to speedrun.com if you wish to do so, but all times are usually logged. And then they usually have a rematch the following week, where anyone can join, including people that have run the game before or those that haven't. And yeah, it works out as quite a nice little thing. So it basically gets you into new games, And for me, this was one of the games that got picked last year, I think it was. Yeah, so it got picked last year, and it was like, oh yeah, so this got picked, and it was like, oh, give that a try. So I did. So I gave it a try, and yeah, quite enjoyed my time with it, really. Only quite recently, I've managed to put a time down for the US version of the game. I was putting it off for a while because I heard it was awful, and the handling is different. So the difference between this, the original and the US version, the US version obviously has some American cars in it, some cars are completely different. So that's one of the changes. The other change, and the major change, should I say, is the fact that you have, what's it called? You have, so you have like a few different bits that are different. I don't know. It's, yeah, the handling's different. That's what I meant to say. The handling is different. But apparently the handling is worse. Like I said, the cars on this game are a lot more grippy, whereas on that version of the game, the cars drift a lot more and things like that. If you like a floating mechanics and things like that, then that's the game for you. This one's a bit better because of the fact that the cars feel like they actually can grip. Like like for now, we're driving with slick tires on, which is ideally what we want to do. Oh, another thing actually that's worth mentioning. So on Modellista, on the North American version and version 1.1, you actually have a engine swap feature, which is not in the original game. This engine swap feature actually is quite useful for the speedrun, because once you get to a certain point in the run, so you start off using the Dodge Viper in that one, and that is the quickest car in the North American release at the start of the game, which is why the runners use it. But then after a certain point in the run, you don't buy cars in this game. You can just choose to swap your older car for another. But basically, one of the cars that you use is something called I think it's a Toyota 500 or something. It's basically like a little small Toyota, really small car and everything. And you do the engine swap, and I think it boosts it from like 60 horsepower to about 300 brake or something. Yeah, it's really, really cool. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome. There's nothing else to say, it's just awesome. But yeah, that allows you to basically win the rest of the races, which is really fun. But yeah, when we upgrade this car, you're gonna notice some big differences. Like, trust me. It's also worth noting that since we've done that stage at 3 done, or level 3 done. So once that's done, we're now on to level 4. So we're going to do the Vura Rocco Masters Cup. So now we're going to start getting into multiple races for this one. So believe it or not, the first 5 levels can be finished in a little over half an hour, if that. The main point, really, the main section of this run is actually the final tournament. So you actually finish like I'd say the first 6 levels out of 7 can be finished in a little over 50 minutes. Like the biggest chunk is the level 7, because level 7 is 7 races, and a lot of the races are just duplicates pretty much. So for example, in the All Japan Championship, you do 2 races around Japan Area 1 and 2. So 2 dry races, 2 wet races, 2 races around Osaka Highway, and then finally a 3-lap race for the finale at Suzuka. Suzuka being the only circuit in this game that I really recognise. There is a bit more than just the any percent for this game. There is like a complete all cups category, which I don't believe anyone's really tried or anything like that yet. Which I'd be interested to see how long it takes to beat this game, like beat all the events 100%. And as well, you'll be doing a lot more. Me personally, I think doing up until level probably doing up to level 6 or something, or do up to like level, or let level 4 even, maybe. So do up to this level, do all the races and everything. And then yeah, that's it. I would have thought anyway, make things a lot easier.
Check it out.
Excuse me. Yeah, so we've done Uraroko forwards, now we're going to do it in reverse. So this race is actually difficult. Doesn't seem it, because you get a really good start. But the first few corners here can be very difficult. If the AI gets you, you're in trouble. Like, especially on the North American version of this game becomes way harder. Also, it's definitely worth noting that the key part of this run, in my opinion, obviously, of course it's going to be your driving. Of course, that kind of goes without saying. But yeah, you can actually, like, get a lot better at this. If you get a lot better at these races, because I'm pretty sure this is the place where most people, including myself, lose a lot of time during the run. But if you get really good at these races and really learn these stages, the hill climbs and everything, it'll actually improve your run like tenfold, I think. Well, personally, I think it will, personally. Oh yeah. Also, if we got any donations to read out, feel free to go right ahead. Nice. Also, that was a gold split. That's fascinating. I had a gold split on that one yet, so that's new. Also, we won that championship, which is really good. But yeah, I'm gonna quickly spam through these. Make sure I spam through all them.
Nice try. Rainy Street Masters Cup. Keep rocking, baby.
Nice, there we go. There we go. Also, I think I may have just, like, broke the game then. It sounded like I broke the game because all the music disappeared. I was like, oh no, what did I do with the music? Yeah, there is actually a part of this run which can be difficult, and it is this bit right here. Like, this one is very difficult. Doesn't look it. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, this doesn't look difficult. It actually is. So the slipstream of the cars is ridiculously fast. So you do actually have to be careful. Personally, I quite like the wet races because I think they're more of a challenge. Obviously, this is the most challenging part of the run for any runner. So you have to win this race, both races ideally. If you can win one race and finish second in the other, that'll still count as a win. As long as you beat the event, you're fine. But ideally, obviously, you want to beat both of these races. As you can see, the AI is now like a lot more upgraded compared to us. So because of that, it means that we're going to have like much harder time pulling away. Although for some reason, we have a car at the back, by the looks of it, and he's miles away. But when we get the upgrades on the car, as you'll see, yeah, it's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Also, the guy who's talking over the top, that guy that you keep hearing, he always reminds me of the guy from Ridge Racer, or the girl from Ridge Racer in some of the games. I was about to hit the split button. Well, I didn't. I'm like, no, you got another race to do yet. So yeah, you only just about win on these races, so you do need to make sure you're on the ball with racing.
Check it out.
It does, like I said, it does remind me a lot about it as well. Rubber banding got turned off of that guy alone. Yes, he did. He did indeed.
3, 2, 1.
It's funny as well. Like, I know what people are thinking as well. You probably had a reasonable guess by now. Why pick the Subaru Impreza? Why pick the 22B Subaru? Why not pick the other Impreza? Sure, there's more powerful cars. Well, yes and no. So we picked this car because it has got really good acceleration and the highest top speed of any car stock. And even when it's fully upgraded, it is a really quick car. Like, it's very, very quick. If you were to beat the game, you'd obviously get access to higher specification cars and things like that. Oh yeah, it's worth noting, there isn't actually any race cars in this game. All the cars that you see are all just stock with slight part tweaks. That's kind of it. You can upgrade a car, but this is basically modified car racing. There's no turn your car into a race car. There's nothing that will really do it. You can turn it into a race car, but it's not really a proper race car, if that makes sense. So I need to also just make sure. There we go, should be fine. Awesome stuff. Nice. See, they get very, very close, especially near the end as well. Nice. Well done. Good stuff. Nicely done. And yeah, so that's the hard bit done. Now we've got to make sure what we do now is, yeah, what we've got to make sure we do now is we're going to have level 5 unlocked. But what we're going to do is we're going to go back. And what we're now going to do is we're now going to tune the car up. So we're going to go down here and we're going to introduce the engine upgrades, which are going to be absolutely crazy. And also weight reduction as well. So we've now got a fully upgraded car. Or somewhat upgraded. It's not fully upgraded, you can fully upgrade it properly. But this is as much as we can upgrade it. So now, we've done the first 4 levels. We're now on to level 5, which is the Urban Championship. And we've also got the Mountain Championship. There we go. As you can see now, the car just goes. Like, it just goes properly. It was a lot quicker than the AI does. We've still got the acceleration, everything. We've also got much higher top speed as well. So originally it was 240. Yeah, we're not even going anywhere near that. We're going way above that. So one thing I did on the last run, I did a run of this not too long ago, and found out that when I did this run is that you're supposed to set, well, what someone gave me as notes, which is what I've kept, is the gear ratio you can put at max speed, but you can put it at max speed 5, so the 5th notch over. I put it on the 4th notch now. I found it to be a lot easier and a lot quicker, and it actually helped me out beating. It helped me in beating. Excuse me. It helped me in beating the what do you call it, the PB that I had before. I actually saved around like 50 seconds on my PB, which was pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the fact that I beat it by so much was ridiculous. But yeah, so we've got this Japan area number 1. Now, unfortunately, most of the main, like, the quick driving just kind of took a back seat. So now we're going to kind of be like chilling, just relaxing, doing these races and beating them. Yeah, the first 20 minutes is what is the like main part of it. Once you upgrade the car, it pretty much takes a back seat. It's quite a slow burner. That's what I will say. So yeah, if we've got any plugs for the marathon itself, the charity we're raising money for, or any donations, now would be an excellent time to read anything out.
All right, let me see. Well, we do have a new donation to read off here. We have a donation from Dobbs Works for $1,069 saying, haha, nice.
Wow.
Nice indeed.
Thank you very much. That's very generous. I was going to say, generous is an understatement for that kind of a donation. Wow. Seriously, go you. All money's going to a great cause, of course. Make sure to get all those donations in, guys. But yeah, like I was saying, so the rest of this game now, from now on, is going to be a bit of a slow burner. And that's the truth. That's not sugarcoating anything. It is going to be a slow burner. So yeah. So we've just done that urban race. So that's Japan area number 1. So we're going to be doing that again, but it's in reverse now. I know. Tokyo area 1, but in reverse, as you can see. The only time you ever see the AI is right at the start. Also, there is going to be a lot of I was going to say frame limiters. There's going to be a lot of rev limiting. You're going to hear a lot of that as it goes. So yeah, just so you're aware. This is a question, Diesel. What was the estimate I gave for this game again?
110.
110. Just double check. I was like, did I give it at 115 or was it 110? 110. That's good.
Yeah, we can cheat and set it to whatever we want.
No, that sounds about right, to be fair, because so I'll quickly mention about records and things like that. So the world record for this game on as a whole is 106.48, set by someone called Fair, who drove absolutely ridiculously to get the record. I mean, I think even he would say, well, there's time safe here and there and everything. My personal best, I think, is a 107. I think like a 107.3 or 107.7 or something. I can't quite remember. It was a lot better than my PB. Let's put it that way. So there's that. But yeah, the US tune I think is like a 117, 118, something like that. For the time that's there. What else? Yeah, so it's it really is something. That's for sure. Also, I just love the fact of how much you pull away from the AI when you've got the upgrades on the car. It's fantastic. Well, that was really good. And that corner was really, really good. They were very close. There we go. I do like the fact of how fast this car can go. And I will say as well, for a game that released back in, what, 2003, 2004, obviously this looks quite good. Speaking of which, actually, this is another thing I was supposed to mention. So, this is currently being played on PCSX2. Yes, I know a lot of people aren't fond of it. It's a PS2 emulator, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's what this is being played on for those that are intrigued. It's also what the record is set on. So the record is set on emulator, but the console record, I think it's a 109. That is set by myself.
Check it out.
There you go. You know, something, you learn something new, but yeah. The console version is a lot, console version is a lot slower, mainly because of load times, really. And as well, it's definitely worth noting, So if you play the game so the game asks you when you start whether you want to play at 50 or 60 hertz. If you play this game at 50 hertz, your lap times will be slower, I think, than 60 hertz. Only a slight minor tweak, but for some reason it seems to make a slight difference. Obviously, back then when it came out, it was all about, you know, whether you had a 50 hertz or a 60 hertz TV. For me personally, I never understood the difference, especially when I was a kid. But yeah, there you go. The more you know. So yeah, Osaka Highway is pretty much a big loop that we're going to do twice over. And the worst thing is, if you think this is bad now, in the All Japan Championship, we've got to do these 2 races again, as well as the last 2 races, along with the 2 wet races, which is Japan Area 2 forward and reverse, and then we've obviously got the 3 laps of Suzuka. So yeah, like I said, the game kind of gets drawn out in length. This is actually one of its downsides. Like, I think it looks great and everything, and plays quite well, and gameplay is great, but it's also a downside of the game is the slow burner for the career mode. And when I say slow burner, I mean you can move through it pretty quickly, but it feels a bit cheap that they've gone with the fact that when you start the game, you've obviously got, well, you've obviously got this. Like, you've obviously got all them races that you do, like, within the first 20 minutes or so. 25 minutes, something like that. But yeah, after that, it's like, huh, okay. There you go, the more you know. But if I end up going quiet, that's why. You know why. Simply because of the fact that I'm just going to kind of concentrate on the game a little bit. Do some driving, so to speak. So currently, according to this, we're at 30 minutes. Feels a lot longer than that, I'm not going to lie to you. Supposed to be a lot longer than 30 minutes, but then again, the last 2 runs, well, to be honest, the last 2 runs combined, this is already longer than them. As of right now. Oh yeah. So the Urban Championship takes about 15 minutes, because obviously you got 2 races here and 2 races next. The Mountain Championship, or level 6, is Rocco up and down, so forward and reverse. And then there's the... can't remember the other one. The other... what's it called? The other hill climb. I can't remember the other one. But yeah, there's another hill climb, you've got to do that forward and reverse, and then that's that done, really. So that's that race done. We've got the next one, we've got one more. Go through menus and da-da-da-da-da. Go through the menus, like we do.
Check it out.
But yeah, you have to like know when to press the right buttons going through that. So it's like forward, 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 and then you see the first, and then you, or second, or whatever, and then what you've got to do then is you press triangle, and that immediately moves on to the next bit. That's another thing you need to learn with this game, unfortunately. What buttons to press and when, where to go, what to do. So it's all about our menu movement. Although I'd say the menu movement doesn't really take up any of it. If I'm being honest, I don't think it takes up any of it at all. So, yeah. I don't know, the more you know. Nice. Also, when you're at the front, he always says, "Come on, come on." So you'll often hear him saying that. Unfortunately, I do apologise if you end up hearing him say it a lot. Yeah, I can't help being that good. To be honest, the game's quite easy to pick up and play for the average player, I'd say. If you're into racing, you'll definitely. I think you'll definitely, personally, I definitely think you'll be able to pick this up and start playing it if you're used to racing games. Whether that's Gran Turismo, Forza, whatever. Whatever takes your fancy, I think this will be right up your street. Yeah, even if you play like Mario Kart and stuff, I think you'll still find this enjoyable. We've got one more lap to go, and then we are done with Osaka Highway and the Urban Championship as well, which is good stuff. Yeah, just got one more lap to go, and then we'll be done with this one. Should be good. I think, as well, if I do the same lap time I just did, this might be a gold split? Possibly? Looks like it is. Possibly be. He says for the millionth time. Also, I find something interesting about this game. So there's notice the arrows above you. You can actually turn them off. I usually don't. I usually do turn them off, but I was like, nah, you know what, I'll leave them on. But they're actually just telling you, obviously, as you might imagine, they're telling you which way the course is going to go next. These are quite useful for a beginner, I personally think, and it's a good idea. Although, to me, they often look like, I don't know if people agree with me on this, but I feel like it looks like a, it looks like, to me, what is it, like a, I don't know, just, yeah, it just looks like certain thing, I don't know. It's me. There we go. So we're off to the mountains now. We got, I think it's Uroroko and the other one. I think? Yeah, Rocco Hill, sorry. So these will actually be a lot easier because, as I said before, these will be a lot easier because of the fact that, well, don't have to really worry. The AI behind won't catch us. Oh, that was it, yeah. Sorry, the arrows remind me of co-drivers notes from like rally games like Colin McRae Rally and stuff like that. That's what they resemble to me. Nice. Excuse me. For me personally, I quite like Mountain Championship because it's quick. That's the bit I like about it.
Keep rocking, baby.
So the first race is very quick. And obviously the second race is because it's the reverse of this one. After that, it's 2-minute race. It's like, Remember this race from before? It was bloody difficult, wasn't it? Not anymore, eh? So it can actually be a good thing holding the car in third gear. Well, it's definitely worth mentioning that. This will probably be, I think this will probably be like a 107. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure, but could be. Get these. Nice. That's a very good point, Kuran. You're very much right on that one.
Check it out.
Yeah, you're very much right on that one, though. You know, like you said, you know, you have like Formula 1 games, for example. They're kind of the same. Aggie Hill, that was what I meant. That was the one I always forget. This is a 2-minute race, so it's gonna be interesting. But you're right though, because it's like you obviously got corner markers and things like that. All of a sudden you're like, where have they all gone? Because you know you definitely adapt to them as well. Also, this corner here, these corners here on the uphill are a nightmare. Just gonna say that for reference right now. Just wait till we get up, going back up this thing uphill. It's terrible. Akagi Hill is one of my least favourite tracks in this game, simply because of the fact that it is very challenging. Doesn't look it, but I always miss like brake points on a lot of different corners. It's not very nice whatsoever. I do quite like the backfire on that car as well. Nice. I do believe there is a handbrake, but I don't really use it. You think, oh, use the handbrake? These corners. I actually don't. Because I think it spins your car out too much on this one. Personally speaking, I think it does.
Keep rocking, baby. Akagi Hill. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep. Unfortunately, going up Akagi Hill is a lot. Akagi Hill, yeah. This is a lot harder than you think. Also, this is another thing. This is also the last time we're doing hill climbs, so say goodbye to Akagi Hill, guys, because we won't be going back here again. This actually will be the last time we'll be up here. Also, this corner always seems to put me off for some reason. I don't know why. It just does. Also, the music's not too bad. There's not too much music tracked in this game, but it's not too bad, I don't think. That's just speaking. Like a decent mix of rock. Although I think a lot of people will be like, no, it must have Eurobeat. Like, you can always stick Eurobeat on over it, I suppose. So you can always turn the music off in this game and put your own music on. That's what I usually do when I stream it personally. Not always initial D or Eurobeat music, I'll grant you, but you know, you can have it like that if you so desire. Ah, now here comes the tricky part. You remember the bit I mentioned before? This is why I don't like it. That's why. Yeah, it's not very nice uphill. It's pretty terrible. Also, that was a gold split, but only just. I think I could have gained a few more seconds out of that. But yeah, that is the Mountain Championship done. Also, I said 50 minutes. My god, I was way off. There we go. So we're on to the final. We're on to the All Japan Championship now. So this is where, again, so this last particular section, this last championship takes about 23 minutes, 24 minutes. And luckily you only do two laps of this circuit. So we've got 2 laps of Osaka Highway normal, 2 laps of Osaka Highway reverse. We've then got 3 laps of Japan Area 1 forward and reverse. 2 laps of Japan Area 2, which is in the wet, in forward and in reverse, and a 3-lap shootout or 3-lap race at Suzuka. Although time isn't actually when you cross the line in Suzuka. In fact, time is when you see the credits roll. So you have to cross the line, then you have to spam your way through menus and everything. And so you see credits, it'll be time for that one. But yeah, that's not for another 20 odd minutes yet. Like I said, for the most part though, we'll be doing the we're doing the All Japan Championship. Just got, like I said, not long now. About another 20 minutes, but we'll be done. So I think, personally, I think this will be like a 107. I mean, I don't know how, maybe a late 107, I don't know. Not quite now. So the first of the 7 races is done. Okie dokie. 1 race done. We're on to race number 2. Like I said, reverse. It is worth noting, so you have a 7 race championship in the US version. However, the 7 races that you do there are completely random. Well, not completely random, they're a lot more different. So you have like a race on the Osaka Highway, you get a race on Suzuka as the finale, of course. But you also get to race it on like a dirt speedway. So like a dirt oval and things like that as well. There are actually more tracks in the North American version, if I didn't mention that before. But yeah, the whole game of the US version is just a lot longer for some reason. Probably because the fact of, like I said, more tracks, so maybe that's why. we've got another lap to do, and that's that one done. I mean, personally, if there was a way that we could do, like, out of bounds or something for these tracks, that would be really cool. Like, if something like that was found, it would definitely make this game even quicker, and pretty sure as well, like, this would go under an hour if an out of bounds glitch was found. Just saying, it probably would. Or get close to going under an hour. Or closer to going under an hour, I don't know. You know what I mean? Would be nice. Just a shame you can't. I mean, maybe there is, and like one person knows about it and no one else does, but I don't know. Who knows? Excuse me. Come on. Alright. Second race done.
Keep rocking, baby.
Okay, so now we've done the 2 Osaka highways, they're done. We're now on to the Japan Area 1 races. So we've got 3 laps each of these to do.
3, 2.
And then once we've done these, we're then on to the wet races and finally Suzuka, as I said. Like I said, for me personally, this actually takes up a bit too much of the run personally. I think if it was me, I'd like a bit more variety, a bit less, like, obviously the last thing you're going to do in the game should be the longest thing, I get that. But the fact that it only takes you maybe like 5 minutes, if that, you only have to do like 1 event or 2 events at most. Whereas if they're a bit longer in length, then I think this would probably make the game a bit more worth it. If that makes sense. Oh, we got another lot to go. Nice. Keep ourselves going. Could be, like I said, slow burner. Slow burner. That was really close. Like, very close. I wasn't expecting to be as close as it is. Also, Subaru banners! Yay! Worth noting as well, you can customise the cars, like what colour they are and everything. You can put your own stickers on them and things like that, so that's really cool.
Check it out. Tokyo
just gonna say that I was like, ooh, don't limit it then. Just about. Also, my first sub 1 lap. I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed. I've never managed to pull that off ever. That's a first. So for context, if you get a sub 1 minute lap on the first lap, that's pretty good. I mean, second and third lap will always be quicker because you're obviously going at speed anyway. If that makes sense. But yeah, for some reason, car just was like, yeah, I'm going quicker today. Like a hell of a lot faster. Yeah, exactly. First lap's always be the slowest. But yeah, for some reason that was under a minute. Like I said, normally, I mean obviously your first lap will be, to be fair, sorry no, your first lap will always be the slowest, you're right on that one. X10. But to get sub 1 minute as a first lap is pretty impressive. Like I said, I've never done it before, it's just a case of you usually get sub 1 after you do the first lap. Must have been driving really bloody good if that was the case. True, very true. Also, that is race 4 done. So we've just got another 3 to go. The thing is, I will mention this, is that all these races that we're doing are all 2 or 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes each. The last race at Suzuka is nearly 5 minutes long in length because you're doing 3 laps of the Grand Prix circuit. So, there you go. That's why it'll be a lot longer. Like, I'd say about a fifth. Yeah, about a fifth is spent doing the Suzuka race. Yeah, exactly. That's very true. Very true. Gotta find a way to go out of bounds and make it count as a flying lap, yeah. That's why I'm saying, like, if out of bounds gets found for this game, it will break it. I'm just saying. Like, this game would go under an hour easily. Because you could save so much, especially Suzuka. If Suzuka had a out of bounds that allowed you to do a lap in, well, I don't know. Yeah, allowed you to do a lap in, like, I don't know, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, that would be amazing. Because you'd knock off 3 minutes there and then. The lap of Suzuka takes about a minute and a half. First lap's about a minute and 40, but usually about a minute and a half. And just as context, by the way. You know, just so people understand. I'm trying not to spin out here if I don't. There we go. 48 seconds, nice. I highly doubt it, but I'm going to try and aim for a 47-second lap. Let's see if we can do it. Let's go, let's go. Come on, car. Play it. No, no. Go, go. Now I'm trying to beat my own my own goal. I don't think I will get a 47, but I'll try. Come on. There goes nothing. Can you get any air off curbs or... Curbs you kind of can, but you can't off other cars. If you hit a car too hard, then no, not usually. Ah. Never mind. I tried. Nice. So, unsurprisingly... Oh yeah, if you could skip... If you could actually skip races, we could actually skip the Suzuka race. We'd do the next one, skip this one. Probably worth noting that one.
Tokyo 8, 3, 2, 1, go! Show us what you got!
I find it interesting though. So what's actually supposed to happen? If we're going on, well, I don't know if we're going off real life physics, but the tyres we've got on are slick tyres. Now slick basically means it's smooth all the way around. This is what Formula 1 cars have been using for, oh, I don't know. It's about 2009. I think it is. What they still use in modern Formula 1. And supposedly dry tyres, so these tyres, slick on a wet track, usually means it feels like you're skating on an ice rink. But on this game, the car doesn't slide off. You notice it does slide a bit more, and we've not got like loads of grip and everything. Yeah, it's really odd. I don't know either. I don't know either. Well, there you go. Yeah, as I said though, like I mentioned, so we're gonna be doing the final race at Suzuka, and once that's done, it's 3 laps of that circuit, and then time will be when the credits show, which will be about 10 seconds later, there or thereabouts. Yeah, exactly. This game is more leaning towards the arcade racers. So if you're an arcade racer, I definitely think this game would be a good try. A good idea to try. Excuse me. And I think a lot of people may lean on it and look at it and go, yeah, you know what? Game's alright, I like this. Nice. 6 out of 7 races done. Leave 1 to go.
Check it out!
So finally, our final race of the day takes us to Suzuka. Like I said, a lap takes about 1.5 minutes each. So this race on its own is like 4.5 minutes. So yeah, for those that have never seen Suzuka before, this is the circuit of Suzuka. Most famously seen in 1990 during the 1990 Formula 1 season when Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost collided with each other at the final chicane, which you can see is there on the map. We are going to be doing a lot of corner cutting. Yeah, this seems similar to what we did at on Toka 2, but yes, we are doing the same here. Sometimes it's worth doing the corner cuts on this track, other times it's not worth it. Believe me. Sometimes it isn't worth it. There's a nice big straight here. Put our foot down on. Also, this track is still being used with modern Formula 1 for those that don't know. Track limits are optional, yes, they very much are. They very much are. As you can see, there you go. First lap, done and dusted. Minute and a half. Also, ideal lap times. What we're looking for here is we are looking for a lap time of about 1:26, maybe a bit more. Something around them lines. Anyway, about that time. There or thereabouts. I think that's what we're looking for. Anyway, I don't know. We'll find out after this first flying lap. Again, no track limits. They don't exist. Also, black exceeding track limits, yeah. Although they wouldn't give you a black flag for doing that. They give you a black flag for corner cutting excessively, I think it is. Something like that. Also, just to prove the power of this car on this particular track and the power of the corner cutting, just look at the guy in last. We're nearly half a lap ahead of him. We've only done 2 laps. If we did a full race distance of the Suzuka circuit, which is 63 laps, I think. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it takes a lot longer. Also, 128, 127, 128, that's ideally what we're looking at for stage time. Yeah, time is not going to be when we cross the line, so it's probably worth getting ready on time. Albeit it's about a minute and a bit off, because obviously we've got to do this lap first. But I'll give you a heads up when it is. We're coming up very close to it. We're already halfway through a lap. Come on, car, come on, we're nearly there, nearly there. Only got a couple of corners to go. And chicane that we're just going to clearly use track limits on. Come on, come on. There we go. Yeah, time's going to be coming up very, very shortly. Also, the record has just passed, but this is fine because we're not aiming for that. I was like, oh, really? I thought you were aiming for that. No, no. And time. Yeah, that's Auto Modellista. And that is the credits as well that we're seeing. Yeah, that's Auto Modellista, and apparently them last 3 championships I did, I got gold splits in every single one of them. What was that against my PB? So I saved 5 seconds in the last 3 championships. That's interesting. I was 18 seconds behind when I went into level 5. That's good. That's still pretty good. I'll take that. Yeah, pretty good for a marathon run too. The game is relatively straightforward. It is just about the driving. So once you get the driving nailed, everything becomes really easy. Oh yeah, knowing what upgrades to do. If anyone's looking at running this, I can obviously send notes and show notes if needs be for what to use for the settings and things like that. I personally use a slight tweak on the gearbox. Instead of using the 5th notch on the gearbox for the max speed, I use the 4th notch. Just as a heads up. Yeah. Should be good. Yeah, like I said, if anyone's interested in giving it a try as well, also, probably worth noting.
You are the greatest of all.
There you go. It's like, you beat it. Yeah.
Amazing result.
And obviously there's our car in the garage. But yeah, that's going to be it for Auto Modellista. We're gonna go to a quick intermission, have a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be Space Invaders, the Game Boy Advance. So we'll go back to a quick intermission, and yeah, see you shortly.
All right, we'll see you in a moment.